And we are back live. We hear the announcement courtside with Dan Armijo, the referee, introducing the players. Luis Moreno from Tucson, Arizona, and now Sean Lenning, also living here in Tucson, Arizona. These two facing each other in the Race for 8, sponsored by Simple Green, is brought to you by the World Players of Handball. Here's the announcement.
Washington, let's welcome Sean Lenning.
Coming from Shoreline, Washington, now transplanted into Tucson, Arizona, Sean Lenning representing the Seattle Wax.
From right here in Tucson, let's welcome Luis Moreno.
Luis Moreno, who marches to a different drum wearing the Bitty Bittigan yellow jersey.
Tommy Little and Alan Gardner, linesmen. Let's get ready for rollouts. 0 serve 0.
Dan Armijo, let's get ready for rollouts. Here's the first serve of the men's
Point.
small ball finals.
Absolutely unbelievable serve there from Sean Lenning. That ball picks up speed as it hits the sidewall, and that's the same serve once again. Absolutely untouchable.
It's like a laser coming out of that right arm.
I can honestly say I've never seen anything like that serve.
Well, you saw it twice in a row. That ball just hopped away from the freak.
And you remember, Dave, when these guys played in Las Vegas, and it was just nothing but aces and flat kills. And I expect the same here.
You said you never saw that serve, and then Luis Moreno just did almost the same thing. It's 0-2 is a score.
0-2.
Not 0-1. Luis Moreno wears a yellow jersey, but it's not usually a female's yellow jersey. He's wearing the Bitty Bittigan jersey. She got that for winning the pro mixed doubles in Vegas.
Sloppy shots from both guys there, Dave, as Luis Moreno giving Sean a huge setup. Sean driving it into the ground.
Luis Moreno is leading the Simple Green Race for 8 standings, and Sean Lenning is the #1 ranked pro. So this clash was about to happen, and they both live in the same town. And they rarely talk to each other, which is also odd.
Well, circa 2007, 2008, it was Luis Moreno taken under Sean Lenning's wing as his protege. And then when I believe Sean saw what a threat Luis Moreno had become, sort of started to distance himself. And the two now are not all that close.
I don't agree with that. Sean's always open for some awesome competition. Look at that get right there from Sean Lenning behind the back.
That's the same get Sean Lenning made at 14-all in Las Vegas to keep the game alive, playing to 15.
That was an amazing get. Here, though, it's the 4-wall small ball finals. Sean tried to do it again, this time with the left hand.
Dave, I don't think you're fully appreciating just the absolutely awesome athletic display here and power from both these guys, because it's absolutely scintillating.
These guys chatting back and forth with each other. I don't know how you can say I couldn't appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it.
Okay. I just don't think I hear enough enthusiasm.
Okay, I'll step it up for you.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful shot. Fist, topping the ball with a fist. That ball stayed down. Luis Moreno wearing the one blue sock, one black sock, and topping it off with a female's yellow shirt.
Is he Oscar De La Hoya? Don't know if you got that reference, because that's pop culture / boxing. And that's a terrible shot from Sean Lenning.
That's a good call from the referee.
A very strange shot. That looked like a spike in volleyball.
4-2.
And Dave, these two guys have about the quickest hands in the world, and even they can't do anything with these serves.
5-2. Short.
Probably isn't the time for this discussion, Dave, but I believe this ball is just way too fast. I mean, you're taking away 80% of the game. You're taking away the pass shot, the ceiling shot, the punch fist to the ceiling, the lob serves, the Z serves. I mean, this is absolutely unbelievable handball, but so one-dimensional. I mean, there's really no strategy involved here, Dave. This is just see the ball and hit the ball as hard as you can and as low as you can.
There was a screen ball called on that last play.
I agreed with that call.
There's a lot of offense out here right now. Both of these guys just going for it. I don't even know if I've seen a ceiling ball yet.
3-5.
3 serves 5.
Unbelievable serve from Sean Lenning. And if I sound like a broken record, Dave, I'm not sorry. Because these shots are just so white hot.
Now we're all together at 5. This is game number 1, 2-21, tiebreaker to 11. That's a broken ball, and I think that we're going to get more of those because these guys are crushing the ball here in Tucson, and one of the reasons why is that these concrete walls are absolutely solid. There's a lot of places that have these concrete over a plywood type wall.
And this ball actually looks really dead, Dave.
These players are really going to have to work this ball out. They both recognize that there's something going on with this ball.
5 serves 5.
5 serves 5. Sean's going to catch up to it.
Beautiful pass there from Luis. He put it in the perfect spot.
Side out. 5 serves 5.
And Sean with a backhanded punch. And you see that ball just dying. Luis put a lot of reverse on that left-handed pass, and when it hit the floor, Dave, it just checked up. I thought it was going to come off the back wall.
Sean Lenning going for the third behind the back type shot.
Well, Sean Lenning's having to resort to a lot of different kinds of swings to try and keep these rallies alive.
Oh, that ball goes right into the ground. We're talking about socks. Luis Moreno has the blue sock and the black sock. Sean's got the striped sock. The last one he was wearing was orange and black. This one is just white and black with the other black sock. And it's just strange that both of these guys are wearing the 2 different color socks. But I guess if you're saying it's a pop culture reference, I'm just missing out.
You know, sometimes my dryer eats my socks, and then you have mismatched socks, but what are you going to do? You got to cover your feet.
That's true. I mean, you can't have the cold toes. Wow, that's a strange kind of let-up kill shot right there from Sean Lenning.
5-7.
5 serves 7.
Nice pickup from Luis, but just delays the inevitable as Sean Lenning finds that right corner.
Now we're at
6 serves 7.
6-7. Here's a setup for Sean Lenning. It's just like looking at a bullet come right out of a gun, Dave.
It's absolutely amazing handball.
7-all. Short. Second serve.
The theater here in the WPH booth, Dave, playing this match on the 15-foot high screen has been rented out by the Bike Alvarado clan. They actually paid a fee, Dave, to just rent out this entire room, have the announcers and the entire gallery to themselves. You see that a lot, Dave, with celebrities. I know when Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie went to Falling Water in Pennsylvania, they just rented out the whole facility for the day.
7-7.
And that's what the Alvarado Bike Clan has done here.
Point.
Well, Nani Alvarado has made a bed out of the chairs. He's taken up 7 chairs.
Well, that's what you can do, Dave, when you throw down 10 grand.
Look at that kill shot right there from Luis Moreno.
9-7. Point.
Wonder if Sean Lenning's questioning whether or not he should have played those 2 rounds of handball today.
Well, I think Sean's played pretty well here. He's got a lot of pop on the ball.
That ball sounded like it just smacked on that front wall, and a kill shot right there from Luis Moreno. There is a glove change being called here from Sean Lenning as Luis Moreno goes up 11-7. This is game number 1 of the Simple Green WPH Race 4-8 in Tucson, Arizona. Who will win the race? Every single point counts. Luis Moreno is currently number 1 in the race standings. And as we look at that list after this weekend, it all determines on what happens between Luis and Sean Lenning, but it looks as if even if Luis lost here, he would still be number 1 in the race with Sean Lenning right on the tails of Nadi Alvarado Jr., with Nadi probably remaining in the number 2 spot no matter what Sean Lenning does. But then Charlie Shanks at number 4 in the race standings, Alan Garner at 5, Andy Nett, and then Robbie McCarthy at 6th and 7th, respectively, and then Dave Chapman holding the 8th spot.
But let's not forget, Dave, the race standings apply only to who's invited to Seattle after the 7th stop. It's the year-to-date rankings that determine who's invited and who has to qualify.
Well, if they were to say right now those qualifiers that would go into Seattle if it were to end today, it would be Luis Moreno, Nadi Alvarado, Sean Lenning, Charlie Shanks, Alan Garner, Andy Nett, Robbie McCarthy, and Dave Chapman. That's one heck of a top 8. Now Andy Nett is slowly working his way up. Maybe we should say quickly working his way up. So is Charlie Shanks. And Luis Moreno, this is his second final, and he won 3rd place at the U.S. Open, so he's holding strong right now on his race standings.
Andy Nett's been in the quarterfinals of all 3 race stops.
Let's get going.
Sean Lenning is currently the number 1 ranked pro. And so as it works out, the current rankings is what dictates the seeds at these pro stops, and that's why Sean Lenning has the number 1 seed, and I believe he will probably maintain that number 1 spot, but I might be wrong on that. He is defending points from Minnesota, but I think he gets those back here.
He does, so he'll stay at the exact same number that...
Unless he wins, then he gets more points.
That's true, he'll pick up 2 more points. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, Dave, but I believe Sean Lenning is at 40 total points. Should he win here today, he'll be at 42. Should he lose, he'll stay at 40.
And Luis Moreno is who he beat in Minnesota.
That was another match, Dave, where Luis Moreno had match points on Sean Lenning. The level of play, though, Dave, 12 months ago between these 2 guys, nothing like what we're seeing here today. That was at a time when Sean Lenning couldn't swing with his right arm. Luis Moreno, Dave, really not that much, not into handball at that time, and it just nothing like what we're seeing right now, Dave. I personally don't know what to say about what we're watching right now. It's so fast.
Both of these players are playing really good handball right now. They might have sloppy moments, but those are just tremendous shots. And we've seen certain players like Marco Chavez roll off 8 or 9 straight 1-inch high kill shots, and we were in awe, but these guys are doing that every single match in this tournament. It's just such a strange level.
And Sean Lenning looks really flat right now, Dave. He talks openly about how sometimes, for some reason, his heart's just not in it. Other times he's so pumped up with so much adrenaline and fire. Right now it looks like he's going through one of those terrible lulls. And you see that awful body language from Sean Lenning, just reaching over, bending at the waist rather than bending his knees. And unfortunately for you, Dave, this match could end up costing you a lot of money. And I'm sorry about that, but I won't be sorry when I take my wife out to a lovely dinner on your account.
Well, you and I actually don't bet money. We bet food coupons because I always get those free. They call it the Triple Star Award, where they just hand them to you. It's not really a bet.
Well, it's a
gift.
Win-win for you.
I got them free to begin with.
Skip, side out.
There's a skip ball right there in the side out. Luis Moreno now serving.
15-8.
I can't help it if I like the buffet table. I'm not even spoiling myself.
Look at that power from Luis. Sean knows that that ball is going back down the left, but it just can't catch up to it. I'd actually love, Dave, if we could put a headset on John Bike and hear what he has to say about what we're watching here. To me, Dave, this just seems like a level of handball and a speed of handball that I've never seen before. I'm be interested to see if I was just imagining things or if maybe John agrees with me. And Sean with a very innovative shot there and puts an easy setup into the floor.
The Lenning camp said before this match started that it was going to be a blowout in favor of Sean Lenning.
Wow, I've never heard the Lenning camp talk like that. Are you talking about the patriarch?
Oh, and a
Luis
ball.
with his second serve into the ground.
That's Luis Moreno trying to pump himself up there with that Bitty Bittigan shirt. And I actually think that shirt gives him some power points, sort of like Pac-Man's power pellets.
And it's interesting, Dave, talking with Nadi Alvarado Jr., as you see Sean stretching there. Nadi telling me he thinks Luis plays a lot worse when he starts to get aggravated with the little things that go on in the court. I always thought that Luis started playing better, but Nadi said he makes a lot more errors when he starts to get aggravated.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, we saw him play Paul Brady, and he was pumping himself up. And I don't know if that was an aggravation or just inner strength, but.
Well, that was in the pre-Luis Moreno getting aggravated days. Now it's Luis Moreno who does seem to become quickly annoyed.
But Luis Moreno right now is playing like Sean Lenning did against Charlie Shanks last night, 17-10. He's on fire. I mean, he looks rested, like this is his first round. What in the Paul Brady's getting into Luis Moreno here?
Well, Luis Moreno's fitness has always been just incredible to me, Dave.
I am very impressed with Luis Moreno.
10-17.
10 serve 17. Sean Lenning serving here.
Point.
I mean, have you ever seen anything like that where the guy just generates so much power
11-17.
on a line like that? 11-17. Crack serve, now making it 12-17. Within 5 is Sean Lenning. This is not over with yet. And what Sean needs in his career is a real tough win where he comes back.
12-17.
I think that would be great for his confidence.
That's a really good point, Dave.
I think that ball was good. Sean, they can go to video replay if he wanted to. He's not electing to.
And now a double fault from Sean. Luis has had 2 double faults. They are actually single faults that went into the ground. And now Sean with a double fault.
I would have loved to look at that replay of that short ball. I actually felt that that ball,
17-12.
the referee called the wrong score. Sean Lenning said wrong score. That was a great serve too.
I thought it was short. Can we appeal a serve that didn't even exist?
No, I'm talking about that Sean Lenning serve. We have the upper camera angle looking down on it.
18-12.
18 serves 12.
Point.
That's just impossible to
And
get
you
back.
see Sean's obviously had no chance to return that day, but the body language, the wave, the slow motion wave.
Jimmy London that ball.
It's not a good
19-12.
indication for Sean's mental state right now.
And he just punches that ball with a fist.
But you know, Dave, I completely agree with you. Sean needs one of those tough, grinded out wins.
We've seen Dave Chapman have plenty of those, and I think champions have those.
The ball is just coming off Luis Moreno's hand so perfectly, Dave, with so much pace.
But I think it's more intelligence here. He's playing a smart game. You know, Sean's pinned to the left. He goes down the right, and if he feels him on the right, he pinches to the right.
With all due respect to these guys, Dave, I don't think there's much strategy involved in this game. These guys are just blasting serves and following them up with unbelievable kill shots. Look at that power from Sean.
Luis is mad at himself that he's unable to shovel that back. I mean, that's how focused these guys are.
Amazing serve there from Sean.
Luis Moreno called two bounces.
13-19.
13 to 19.
Now Luis going to the paddle. That's a huge setup for Sean, and he takes care of it. Sean bending extra low there, Dave, with that back knee. Smart timeout there from Luis Moreno, but let's take an instant replay of that last shot from Sean Lenning where he really gets low, and a lot of people say Sean Lenning swings from the hip, but this time it's Sean Lenning really dipping.
I mean, if you're one of those inspiring youth players that want to improve your game, you want to hone in on a back wall shot, you want to learn this. Watch what Sean Lenning does here as he rotates his body perfectly in set here. He just knows what he has to do. Here's it. Bam. I mean, he hits it so hard you can't even see it in slow motion. Unbelievable play right there from Sean Lenning. Gets his feet in the perfect spot. Lets that ball come out in the middle of his body, and he hits it 1 inch high off the front wall, and that's multiple times we've seen this. Look at the score. It's 19 to 12, and yet Sean Lenning's made some great shots here, and yet he's trailing by 7 points.
Incredibly, Dave, this game isn't very physical because the rallies are so short. There's not a lot of retrieving. When these players go for their shots, it's either a flat kill or a skip, and usually a flat kill. I don't even know if these guys are sweating.
Okay, that's timing. $14, 19.
Score is 14 to 19. Boy, that ball just jumps off of Luis Moreno's hand. Sean Lenning's going to have to grind out a win here. Luis Moreno looking for that second tour win, and that's going to give him a lot of points in the race standings. Nice shot right there from
Look at the
Sean
torque on
Lenning.
that left hand from Luis Moreno. Phenomenal. And that's a mystery ball. It'll come straight out, and Sean plays it well.
Plays a really good Dave.
And you see Luis looks like he's just going for the scoop shot there, but he still crushes it too well. That's an avoidable.
That's a right call from the referee.
Really can't be much argument there from Luis.
You accidentally ran into him. I know, but
It doesn't matter if you're trying to do anything. If you do it, it's done.
you were trying to get out of the way, but it was a big, you can't feel it. It's an avoidable.
Luis, I don't think really understands what an avoidable is, Dave. I've seen this come up a number of times.
Well, I told the police officer when he pulled me over I was trying to go 35, but I was just going 85.
Second serve.
And I was slamming on my brakes when I saw him.
You should have told him, you should have seen how fast I was going before I slammed the brakes.
15, 19.
15 serves 19. Boy, Sean's cracking that ball right now. It's 16 to 19. Now that's how you control yourself in the court when you scream.
16, 19.
Are you just speaking to the general public now?
I was actually pointing and tapping at your collar while I said that. And look at that shot from Sean Lenning. A fadeaway a la right hand John Bike kill shot there as he fades away. John does that with his left hand. Sean did that with his right. 17 serves 19.
Terrible serve from Sean. And I believe that serve was the turning point late in this game. I think Sean Lenning was in control. If he kept serving the way he was, he would have come back and won. Now it's Luis back in the box, and I believe Luis will serve out this game here.
Well, that ball just jotted out of that corner. A smart shot right there from Sean Lenning. Some more contact now called from the referee. Amazing left-handed kill shot right there from Sean Lenning.
Incredible. Sean making that look so easy.
17, 19. Short.
Sean goes for the short crack on the right wall, but comes up about 6 inches short.
Point.
Amazing shot from Sean. The ball coming across his body, and he takes it back into that left corner. You need perfect timing to hit that shot.
18, 19. Short. Second serve.
Not a good serve from Sean. It's a big setup, and Luis does not make good contact, and now Sean overhitting.
Hold it.
Good call there from our referee. Luis Moreno all of a sudden now cannot keep the ball down.
Let's see what Sean does on this serve.
I think he'll go to the left here.
Short ball, not called. Sean's drifting because he thinks it's short.
Timeout, Sean, your first.
I'm surprised that nobody's looking at that serve. We'd like to look at it in the box here. You're watching now a big round of applause from the crowd as they step out because they're thoroughly entertained. Let's go back a little bit here to that serve. It actually looked like it was short, Dave.
I thought it was short when he hit it.
Yeah, me too. And now I see it really is short on this.
Well, Luis
replay.
could have appealed. It was a hinder call, but he could have gotten a second serve out of it.
There's coming up right there. Let's go back just a little bit. Yeah, that's like at least, there's the bounce right there. That's where it's coming off the ground. There's the, oh my gosh, it's 3 inches short, Dave.
Oh, I don't know how you can see that, but I'll take your word for it.
That's unbelievable. That was a huge short ball. Not like that makes much difference, but Sean Lenning has that amazing, second serve anyway. That ball was about 3 inches short.
And this is anybody's ball game, Dave, at this point. Sean Lenning trailed 19-12, Dave, and he's now scored 6 consecutive points. I don't understand why Sean didn't let that ball come off the back wall, Dave. Luis telling himself he should shoot, but he hasn't had an opportunity to shoot the ball, Dave.
18-19.
Now we're at 18-19. There's a setup for Luis, who takes a little bit off of it, and it's just enough. Sean Lenning catches the ball and throws it back.
Fortunate break there for Luis, as Sean had a play on that ball, but it just checked up on the side wall. Luis goes for the crack. Here's a setup. I thought Luis should have gone with the right hand there. An amazing get there. Sean goes behind him.
Wow, Luis almost gets it. You saw Sean's body English. He actually thought Luis was going to get that back too. I like what Sean did though. He dove for that ball and instantly popped right back to his feet. And because he did that, he was able to punch that ball to the deep right corner. We can see the replay of that.
Well, that was an amazing point there.
It really is set up from Sean. He went down and dove for that ball, but I'm telling you, Dave, he jumped up really fast. And because he did that, he was able to get a good shot onto the next one that Luis just pounded right at him. Now at 18-19, once again.
18-19.
This would be a huge win for Sean Lenning if he was able to come back here.
Well, he's got the mo and he's got the shots to go along with the mo, as you see a beautiful left-handed kill from 32 feet. Good return there from Luis. And now he'll have a setup. Sean makes a great get here. And Luis just blasts that shot right at his feet, able to drill the ball past Sean Lenning.
19-all.
Score is 19-19 on the scoreboard here, provided by Zions, the official sports drink of the UFC and the official scoreboard of the WPH.
And this is a lot of pressure here for Luis, serving a second serve. I don't know if he knows what serve to use right here, Dave.
Glove change there. You're looking wet. Do a glove change. The ball looked like.
I don't know how anybody can sleep during this match. This is one of the most exciting ones we've seen of the tournament, if not the most.
And we'll cut into the booth here, Dave, for this 2-minute glove timeout. Actually, we're not going to go to a glove timeout. Luis Moreno talked his way out of it. We'll come to the booth at the conclusion of this game, Dave, during the 3-minute timeout.
I believe Luis said, that's just the color of my gloves. That ball slid. I think Sean's probably going to peel it, so get ready for that.
Point.
Sean Lenning has not missed that shot in 7 years. And he hits the bottom of his hand there.
Here it is, game point for Luis Moreno. Sean Lenning to the right. And
amazing passing shot there. The ball checks up on the floor because Luis hits the ball with that big reverse. And now Sean Lenning looking at the ball. Hold on here.
Let's not leave yet. This could be a broken ball. Sean believes it's broken.
3 minutes.
Sean is actually trying to break this ball now, Dave. He thinks it's broken.
I would not break away yet, only because strange things have happened. We don't want this to be a Heidi situation.
Now, can Sean actually break this ball right now and demand a replay? I don't believe he can, Dave, and I'm the head referee.
No, I don't think he can, but we have seen some crazy stuff happen, not just this tournament, but other ones as well. Sean just didn't want to let that one go. You are watching the live broadcast here courtesy of First Star Sports and Zions, the official sports drink of the UFC. Sean Lenning and Luis Moreno here. Moreno taking that lead and defeating Sean Lenning 21-19. Sean Lenning was down 19-14, and he came back and tied it. And then Luis Moreno, Dave, went up and got the last 2 points.
Dave, we watch a lot of handball, and I've never seen anything like what we just witnessed. Maybe Luis Moreno against Paul Brady in 2008 at the U.S. Open, and maybe Sean Lenning against Paul Brady. But outside of those two matches, Dave, I've never seen the ball moving at this pace. I've never seen the ball killed this low, this consistently. I predict, Dave, the rest of this season on the Race for 8 Pro Tour that we'll see nothing but Sean Lenning and Luis Moreno in the final, very similar to tennis where you had Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer in the finals of every big event. I think we'll see that here in handball because I don't see anyone on the level of these two players right now.
Now, I don't know how anybody can get bored watching these two guys play. You're talking about rally scoring in big ball and how these guys were just quickly getting up to 15 points with all that action. It was almost so exhausting that it was hard to even watch it here in the live broadcast, Dave. But the way I'm looking at it is that's sort of the feel I get watching Sean Lenning and Luis Moreno play that traditional style of handball.
I feel like, Dave, I could watch this match all day. I mean, this is just absolutely phenomenal athletic ability from both guys, the speed and the dexterity. And we'll take a look here at one of the rallies here. Here's Luis taking that revolving door shot. Sean Lenning with the backhanded retrieve.
Luis down the right wall here.
And this is what set up the side out.
Now, if that ball was hit with a natural, Sean would have got it, but he hit a reverse.
And Luis goes to the fist there. That's probably one of the only bad decisions he made all match, but Sean lets him off the hook at a huge moment. That gave Luis the 20th point. He hadn't scored there, Dave, in 7 minutes as Sean Lenning was on a 7-0 run. I think you said that he trailed 19-14. I believe it was 19-12. Either way, Dave, it was an unbelievable comeback there from Sean Lenning, showing a lot of poise. Unfortunately for Sean Lenning, Dave, he made that critical hand error at 19 all. That gave Luis the 20th point. Would have been a side out had he converted that setup, and Luis came back in and ended the game with a beautiful passing shot.
Now we can hear the chirping outside in the crowd as they are completely going bonkers watching some amazing handball. We said earlier that Sean Lenning's really never had that that comeback win where he can get that monkey off of his back. Sean's had some great wins, don't get me wrong. He's the #1 ranked pro in the world rankings right now, but he's never had that win where he had to grind out, where he had a deficit of 6 or 7 or 8 points and he's able to come back and win and then win the tournament. And that's what Sean is going to have to do now. He's going to have to come back in game number 2, take down Luis Moreno, and then go into the tiebreaker, do the very same thing. Let's go to the court right now, Dave Fink, and check out the conclusion here. The Race for 8 finals in Tucson, Arizona, as you heard the referee say 1 minute as he is alerting the crew that you better get back into the court. And it's very difficult to get back into the courts here because the cramped spacing, and you can hear the crowd right now really loud. See the referee telling Sean Lenning, you have to change your shirt. This has been 4 minutes already.
The timeout between games is supposed to be 3 minutes, and we're already at the 4-minute mark, and the players not even close to being ready to play. This is the only thing they've done slowly throughout this entire match. I think he told Luis Moreno to change his gloves. We couldn't see.
No,
Luis
Sean's
Moreno
still wearing his shirt, and you hear the referee just said, you better change that shirt. You can't come into the court with a wet shirt like that. We're already 1.5 minutes now over our 3-minute mark, and the players have not changed gloves or shirts. I just do not understand that.
I actually believe, Dave, that it was Luis Moreno standing by the door and Dan telling Luis, you have to change your gloves. I don't think he was talking to Sean.
Well, Sean, his shirt is completely wet. I mean, the first time he dives, we're going to have to get the towel boy out here.
Doug Clark, Dave, in a very good position to bang that back wall glass.
We are back into the action here with Luis Moreno wearing his wet Luis Moreno shirt.
It's actually a Biddy Bittigan shirt.
Actually, it's a Luis Moreno shirt, and it's
me.
wet.
And Luis starts off very strong in game number 2 here, Dave. A lot of times we have an opportunity to actually step out into the crowd and do a couple interviews, but it just seems like the match is moving so fast here that we don't even have a second to break away.
Sean Lenning really upset with himself right there. He had
2-0.
a huge setup, punched it right down the middle.
And now the body language just terrible from Sean Lenning. And this is what we saw in the finals of the Nationals this year. Sean losing the first game 21-20 and really came out completely dejected and flat in game number 2. And that's the kind of shot making we saw in that national final. Luis Moreno will sense that and he'll apply the pressure.
Luis already gave out 2 fist pumps and we're only at 3-0. Or 4-0, excuse me. I thought it was 3-0. Still think it is, but I heard the ref say 4. I mean, look how hard he's hitting that ball.
And Sean Lenning just does not have the spring in his step right now, and I don't think it's fatigue. I think it's more...
Sean still thinks this is a broken ball.
Timeout. 1 minute.
Very strange timeout call, but Sean's taking it more serious if he's going to call a timeout right here.
Well,
Sean's worried about this ball breaking. He felt it broke at about 19 or 20-19, I should say. Now the towel boy comes out onto the court. You're watching the game number 2 of the men's finals in the small ball division of the WPH Race for 8 stop number 2 in Tucson, Arizona.
this match, Dave, is like handball on 2 pots of coffee with 8 packs of sugar in it. And I'm not talking about decaf. This is the most fast-paced handball I've ever seen. Not only the shots, Dave, but the actual pace of this match. Our referee, Dave, really stepping up to the plate here. Dan Armijo, who's been criticized in the past, had a rough outing last night, but he's come back here today showing that he's
ball
taking
sounded like
this
it
very
broke.
seriously.
It has to be a broken ball, no?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, Sean's been examining it
Well,
with everything but a magnifying glass.
Yeah, but Luis just examined it. I mean, he heard it too. I mean, he's looking for the break. It's there.
And what happens, Dave, is when you lose that spring in your step, the power becomes too overwhelming. When Sean has all of his mental energy into the game, he handles that power so well, but as soon as your mental frame dips a little bit, Dave, it's just, you don't have the reaction time. And he's a half a step slow right now, and that's half a step is enough to lead to a rout. And now Sean just totally lackadaisical. He's trying to get himself back into this. I like that, particularly being a WAC teammate. But we certainly want to just see both these guys playing at their very best. And Sean is far from that right now. Luis Moreno, Dave, really dominating this match. He led 19-12 in game number 1. Sean Lenning made a big rally here, and look at how far this will come out. But Dave, with the exception of that late run by Sean Lenning, it's just Luis Moreno in complete control here.
Timeout.
Sean Lenning taking another timeout. Dave, let's not forget here, Luis Moreno gave Dave Chapman a donut in game number 2 at the Simple Green US Open 3 weeks ago. And believe me, he wants to give you a 0. And right now he's halfway there.
Look at him, he's pumping himself up as he sits here during this timeout. Sean Lenning's walking back and forth down this hallway trying to regroup himself, and I don't know how anybody can come back from this 0-10 deficit after losing that heartbreak in the first game after Sean came back. I just don't see it happening. And we've made this call before about 45 minutes ago when we said that Sal Duenas was going to defeat Samson Hernandez, but I'm telling you right now, I am putting Luis Moreno's name in the Yes to Kids trophy. I'm actually gonna circle the O at the very end.
There's 2 O's in Moreno.
I said the end of the name.
Okay.
I just do not
And
see.
Sean just not hitting the ball with the same crispness right now. That was a pretty good shot, but lacked the pace, and Luis able to catch up to it.
11-0.
11 serve 0.
Now Sean going for the ceiling and
That's a replay. Hold it.
missing it badly.
We're in race.
Sean just seems to be lacking that unbelievable dexterity and quickness in first step that he's had throughout this entire event. Don't forget, Dave, Sean Lenning dominated his first 2 opponents here, including the US Open finalist and the current national champion, beating him by scores of 21-4, 21-7 in both matches. And now he finds himself unbelievably halfway to a shutout here in game number 2. That's something, Dave, that I don't think anyone could have predicted. As you mentioned, Dave, the Lenning camp actually predicting a blowout here. In all fairness, Dave, they didn't say...
Look at Moreno just keeping this ball up. Sean's completely in control.
And Sean's exhausted now, but the Lenning camp didn't say who the blowout would be in favor of, in all fairness.
That's true. They said this is going to be a blowout, as I received that on text message.
0-11.
So they're not wrong. And you see Sean just not able to put the ball down. You know, Dave, I said that Paul Brady was the best athlete that I'd ever seen when I watched him just a couple of weeks ago at the US Open. I'm going to actually include Luis Moreno in that conversation because
his footwork is amazing right now.
Absolutely incredible.
Sean hit that money ball that went, 16 different walls, and Luis's footwork was like impeccable. He was just twisting and turning on a dime and then had power. It's like he's in runner's high situation right now. Unbelievable athleticism from Luis Moreno, who's calling for the towel boy.
As we go back through the annals of great handball champions, David, I don't know how many possess the skill set of Luis Moreno. The power and the speed and the serve. I just don't know. It's a very short list, Dave.
Well,
I think
Nadi Alvarado Sr. definitely is the guy that had all of that. And then some.
Well, obviously Nadi is on that list, Dave, but I think I might be able to count those special athletes on one hand, Luis Moreno being one of them.
If Luis Moreno won a national championship every single year until he was 37, he still wouldn't have more than Nadi Alvarado Sr.
Amazing get there from Sean. Maybe that'll be the spark here for Sean, and that's just a terrible shot. And Sean doesn't even come back into the court. He's totally exhausted now, Dave. And I know you've said this before, Sean's conditioning is suspect.
His conditioning is, his stretching is something new, but I mean, look at Luis Moreno. I'm now beginning to believe that Luis Moreno is secretly training over at the YMCA in downtown Tucson, because he doesn't come to this club, which is the handball mecca. I haven't seen Luis in 3 or 4 months.
Look at that shot from Luis.
I see Sean Lenning down here every day.
Point.
Luis Moreno clearly doing something, Dave, because
here's a replay right here.
Look at how Luis sets himself and still hits that ball with so much pace.
Luis is so good, he's wearing other people's yellow jerseys.
Timeout.
And that was Sean's 3rd timeout, Dave. Sean will need to score 20 points with no timeouts.
The score is 13-1.
If he were to come back and win this game. Now, that's an awfully daunting task. I'm not sure what Sean's strategy is here. I guess he thinks it's now or never. Try and get his wind and make a final push.
Well, he was down against the great Dave Chapman today, 4-0, and came back and outscored him 21-0. And Dave Chapman's the current national champion. Although I think it would be hard to do that twice in one day against an opponent like Luis Moreno, who's completely dominating. In fact, the crowd's so silent right now because of that domination.
Well, the crowd, Dave, is torn. They like both these guys so much.
You're watching the WPH Race for 8.
20 seconds.
Brought to you by Simple Green, Tucson Rolling Shutters, as well as Mintech, Zions, and First Star Sports, to name just a few, as provided by the World Players of Handball. It's Luis Moreno versus Sean Lenning, race for 8, stop number 3, where Luis has already been in finals of 2 of these race stops.
30
2 of the first 3 have belonged to Moreno. He's going to take his second out of the third. He also took 3rd place at the U.S. Open. That's why he's leading the race rankings, and he's soon to be #1 ranked player in the world if he keeps playing like this. I mean, it's not going to take long, if not this weekend.
Well, I agree with you, Dave. One thing that holds Luis Moreno back in the year-to-date rankings is that he didn't participate in the USHA Nationals, so he didn't pick up any of those available ranking points.
113.
That just means if he plays strong for the next 3 or 4 months, he's going to be way above the list.
Well, I don't see anything stopping Luis Moreno from being the #1 player in the world by March. Now, I might even say that that could happen by the end of January, Dave.
213.
Let's not forget, Dave, he was 2 points from making the finals of the U.S. Open, where I thought he was the favorite.
I did too.
And he ended up losing there to Charlie Shanks. Look at Luis never giving up on any ball. And now Sean Lenning just despondent in there. He thought he'd won the point. Luis Moreno staying with that ball, tracking it down. And I don't really understand that shot from Sean. Now it seems like this ball's actually a little bit dead. And Luis hits that right back to Sean. Sean wasn't even moving towards the court to cover the ball down the right. And this is the longest rally we've had, Dave, in this match. This is the 22nd shot of the rally.
It's going to be over right here, though.
Well, this rally will continue for at least 2 more. Well, make that 1. 24 shots there, though, Dave, the longest rally of the event. And look at how exhausted Sean Lenning is after that rally. Luis Moreno just upset, not at all tired.
Sean is not
213.
is not looking good in there. 2-13 is the score as we look at this replay.
Surprised Luis Moreno not making that get.
Both of these guys keep looking at this ball as if it's broken. Now Moreno just cleaning it off.
And now we're having some problems with the throwback.
Well, that was a wet ball, and he was just trying to get the ball.
And there's Sean Lenning finally making a great serve here in game number 2. Dave, I believe 1 or 2 more of those shots could make the difference here.
Luis Moreno certainly will not have enough ranking points to go into first place because Sean Lenning is defending, probably going to get the same amount of points that he had when he lost in the finals of Minnesota.
14-3.
Luis actually lost in the semifinals against Sean Lenning, so he's going to pick up a couple points, which will put him a little closer toward #1, but still pretty far away.
Actually, Sean Lenning and Nadia Alvarado will stay exactly the same as they defended the exact same amount of points that they earned last year, which should Sean Lenning go ahead and lose this match.
Well, Sean's going to lose this match, and that would mean that the rankings will still have Sean Lenning #1, Nadia Alvarado #2, and Luis Moreno #3. Dave Chapman's actually going to fall down off the rankings at that #4 spot. He was defending a lot of points from that win in
But Dave
Minnesota.
Chapman, will be ranked #5 now, will still be seated in the top 4, meaning that he'll get that bye in Fresno by virtue of Alan Garner not attending Fresno.
16-3.
16 serves 3.
Dave Chapman could match up with Charlie Shanks in the quarterfinals there in Fresno. Yours truly could match up with Nadia Alvarado Jr.
You guys are new best friends, which I don't know how hard that's going to be on you to face him, since you guys actually had lunch together.
Well, actually,
for the
he
first
just
time.
watched me eat. I watched him eat, and then he watched me eat. Is that called having lunch together?
I say
Okay.
17-3. Crack serve, dug out from Sean Lenning. Huge setup, though.
Great shot from Luis, and now he's just 3 points from the finish line, which is also yellow, just like the jersey.
18-3.
We actually set up a piece of tape right at the door, and the players run through it, Dave, as they win the match.
19-3.
They're greeted with orange slices and Gatorade. And now match point as Sean Lenning has gone away here.
Possible match point, serves 3.
Here it is. Possible match, serves 3.
And Sean Lenning, a terrible hand air there.
Luis Moreno takes him down.
Congratulations, winner of the Yes to Kids WPH Race for 8 Championship.
I think that Dan Armijo is a Dan Armijo is a inspiring webcast announcer as we watch Luis Moreno. Now he knows how to do it. He sticks around in that crowd and gets all the congratulations from the local hometown crew as he steps out here into the gallery in Tucson, Arizona, and takes down Luis Moreno, takes down Sean Lenning to win the WPH Race for 8 stop number 3 in Tucson, Arizona, as presented by Simple Green. It's their pro tour, and we're glad to be a part of it. The scores were 21-19, 21-3. Earlier today, it was Samson Hernandez taking down Sal Duenas 15-14, 15-3 in the Big Ball 4-wall championships, and Tracy Davis wins the money versus Ashley Moeller right here in Tucson, Arizona. The microphone that Dan Armijo has up there in the referee's spot is a perfect microphone for our Dave Fink, who will go courtside to get these interviews, possibly with Luis Moreno. As we take a look at the crowd here, they're wondering what's coming up next. Well, what's coming up next is no handball.
David's got it. Or who's got it? I don't know.
We are going to just stick around a little longer right now because Dave Fink is going to get the microphone and address the crowd here as we have a special award presentation for Luis Moreno taking down the Big Cash in race number 3, the stop here in Tucson, Arizona. I want to thank Tucson Rolling Shutters, Mintech, as well as Zions and First Star Sports. You're watching this live broadcast because of First Star Sports and Zions, the official scoreboard of the WPH, official sports drink of the UFC. The crowd just hanging out here as if they're going to see another handball match get on the show court. That was some incredible play early from Luis Moreno, and now the crew just hanging around waiting for more handball action on this show court. Dave Fink is going to walk into the court. We are going to catch him live. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to this live broadcast at www.race48.com, where you can catch all of the live broadcasts throughout the whole race season. Starting in Idaho, where Luis Moreno took down Nati Alvarado in the finals. Stop number 2 was Fountain Valley at the US Open, where Robbie McCarthy defeated Charlie Shanks. And here in Tucson, Arizona, just 2 weeks later, all of these happened within 6 weeks. It was Luis Moreno overcoming Sean Lenning to take race for 8 stop number 3. We'll be in Fresno in January as we take a month off, and then we're going to go to Atlanta as well in that month. So we're going to have 2 race stops back to back in the month of January, and then it's off to Salt Lake City in February. The Collegiate National Handball Championships also take place a week later, and then we're off to Southern California at the LAAC for race stop number 7. And after race stop number 7, we look at the race points, and whoever is in the top 8 gets an automatic invite to Seattle, Washington, to the Washington Athletic Club. And those players will play an upper bracket round robin versus a lower bracket round robin. And that should be interesting as we should swing out to the court here. Dave Fink is going to make a presentation on this court using the microphone that the referee had. I guess we're going to come to the booth here, which I think is even more smart, as we have this special presentation that will be awarded to Luis Moreno. Luis will be sitting down next to the big guy right there, Luis Moreno, wearing the yellow jersey. Now, Luis, first off, we want to ask you a little bit about that Biddy Bidigan yellow jersey. Is that just you trying to, put yourself at ease?
No, she wanted to pay me $1 to wear it, so I said, why not?
It's all about money with you, isn't it?
Sometimes.
Luis Moreno, you just took down Sean Lenning. That was an amazing performance. Dave Fink and I are just in awe with all that energy that you had. Where are you bottling that up? First of all, what is your training?
I haven't really been playing much, but I've been, doing my yoga, doing what I normally do, and I'm feeling great. I'm having more fun playing in there, and I don't put any pressure on myself, so that seems to help, and staying calm helps me as well. So that's about it, and just try to make my shot, and sometimes it goes for me, sometimes it doesn't.
Dave?
Always Dave and I watching here in the booth, and also alongside John Bike and a number of other guys who've seen handball for many, many years. We've never seen the ball moving that fast. How are you able to keep up with the ball, and how are you able to continue to hit the ball with that kind of velocity?
Well, this is the thing. I played Sean so many times that I kind of know where the ball's going, or whenever he's gonna swing, I kind of know either this shot or this shot. So I played him so many times that I just know where the ball is gonna end. So that's it. Just.
Now, you've won 2 out of the 3 race stops. You were 2 points from the finals of race stop number 2 in Southern California. Do you set goals for yourself to try and lead the race standings to become the #1 player in the world, or do you just sort of take each match and each tournament as it comes?
I started writing, goals down, for the race for 8, and so far so good.
Well,
you're leading the race. I mean, you are leading the race in points, and you're going to maintain those points, and you're slowly and steadily, though, working your way back up to the #1 spot in the world ranking. Sean Lenning still holds that, but you're getting closer in points. But as a person that is now jumping into the race and getting all of those points, it's going to be hard for somebody to surpass you. Getting that #1 spot is very important, and also winning this first organized pro tour in 7 years. What does that mean to you, Luis?
It means a lot. It brings more to the table, kind of like having a team. Like playing for not only for yourself, but there's other people that want you to win. They're supporting you. You're playing for your hometown. I wish I was playing for Tucson, but that's the way it goes. But I just try to have fun. That's what I've been doing lately, and it's been working for me. Something going on.
Well, we're going to actually have Fred Lewis, who's been your coach and mentor, hand you your check for first place here. Congratulations, Luis, on winning now your 2nd race stop.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for all the hard work.
Here.
Hard work.
I like how you put that in quotes, and I don't blame you for doing that. We'll give that headset to Fred Lewis. This is the president of the WPH. Fred Lewis is also running the Yes to Kids program tournament that's here alongside the Arizona State Handball Championships in Tucson, Arizona. Fred, you are also the mentor in a lot of ways for Luis Moreno, and I know it gives you a lot of pride to hand that check to Luis Moreno for winning this race stop number 3. Fred?
Well, on behalf of the WPH, it's my pleasure to hand you this check for $2,500.
Thank you guys very much. Thanks,
Congratulations.
Fred. Thank you.
And on behalf of the WPH, and I think all of the spectators today, somebody said to me, Fred, we didn't see hardly any ceiling shots in this match. And I said, that's okay, because the crowd really loved the style of play. As David was saying earlier, the speed of the ball. That's what it's all about as far as we're concerned. It was great entertainment, and all I can say is keep it up, and good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, Fred. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Luis Moreno stopping by the booth after that win against Sean Lenning. Thank you very much. Winning race stop number 3. This is the 2nd out of 3 as Luis Moreno exits the booth, and we want to say goodbye to all of those that have tuned into this live broadcast courtesy of Simple Green. It's the WPH Race for 8 where Luis Moreno just got past Sean Lenning. That was one of the most incredible Sean Lennings that we have ever seen, and I cannot even believe that anyone's able to beat him, but Luis Moreno was able to do so. 21-19, 21-4, defeating Sean Lenning. We're going to say goodbye from Tucson, Arizona. This wraps up the live broadcast courtesy of Simple Green. For David Fink, my broadcast partner, Omar Lemus and Linda Manning, my name is Dave Vincent. We'll talk to you next time. It'll be in Fresno, California in January. Thanks for having us. It's always nice being had. You stay close to racefor8.com for more information.